So in these videos, we've been talking about how grades work within a Summit platform. In the last one, we talked about projects. This one, we're going to be talking about portfolio problems. Now, that only affects your math grades. So if you go to any given math grade, and this is a student who's off track on his math grade, and you can see that a portion of the math grade, usually about 10%, if the portfolio problem is something that your school is doing, it comes from portfolio problems. Now, some schools also allow students to use portfolio problems as evidence of mastery towards the unit assessments, and they'll give them a bit of like an upgrade to your unit assessment grade. But the most of the time, they're separate. And what they are applied problems, like real life situations that they use the content of the unit, and they actually usually involve choice. The students get a choice on what to do most of the time, and then they are account for only a small portion of the grade. So if you click on math and then go to portfolio problem tab, you will see how it works. Now, portfolio problems only account, usually, like I said, for about 10% of your grade. Now, there's a little bit of an interesting rule with them. You can score up to 2 points on a portfolio problem, but each of them, you only need to score 1. So that means that if you have one portfolio problem that you score above a 1, it makes up for another one that you score below a 1. And so that's kind of how it works. It's almost like a bit of an extra credit. Now, that doesn't cause you to have extra credit towards your overall grade, but it can help you have a higher grade on the portfolio problems. Just like we said in the last video, that even if you don't have if you can get extra credit for going above average on your cog skills, every time you get above average, it still helps you have a higher overall average for the cog skills. And it never hurts to do some extra effort to actually grow above grade level if you must. So that's the philosophy, right? You can push yourself as high as you want to. At some point, it's not about the grade, it's about getting better. And that's actually the focus of the platform. It's not so much about what grade you get, it's about how to improve yourself. Likewise, with the portfolio problems, you can do extra. You can go deeper and get extra credit that can help your portfolio grade be as high as possible. But the highest it can possibly be is 100%. So even if you get above 100%, it will still say 100% towards that. And that will account for about 10% of your grade. This student has a 75% because they got a 1 for the first portfolio problem and a 7.5 for the second portfolio problem. Now, the cool thing, though, is that at the end of the year, the 2 lowest portfolio problems actually get dropped as well. So if the student did multiple portfolio problems, the portfolio problem that was the worst will not count against their grade. And any portfolio problem that was above 100% would actually make up for one that wasn't done. So just as an example, if you had to do 4 portfolio problems in 1 year, okay, and you didn't do 2 of them, that would be okay because only 2 would actually count anyways. And if one of them was actually a 2, that would make up for one of them that was a 0. So you could actually do 1 out of 4 portfolio problems and get a high score and still be okay and get 10% of your grade. So it's not really a category that hurts you much. It's mostly there to help you. So don't drop the ball on that. I would still encourage students to do all the portfolio problems, but if it's something that you can actually negotiate when you're trying to decide what to spend your time in, because you have the chance to drop them and because you have a chance to make up for it with a future portfolio problem. So again, that attitude that you can always improve, right? As long as you do better in the future, you can make up for your grade. Just like the cog skills, if you do better in future projects, it makes up for your grade. If you make up for a test, it improves your grade. Or if you do better in the future tests, it averages it, brings your grade higher. In here, if you do an extra portfolio problem or if you go above and beyond, it will make up for it and it drops to the lowest 2. So it's not meant to be hurting your grade very much. So let's see how this kind of looks like on a real student. I'm going to try to go to the portfolio problem screen. So here you see at the end of the year, this student actually completed 4 portfolio problems. But you see that because there were only 4 necessary for the student, only 2 of them counted. And in this case, it was the 1 and the 1.5, which means the student got 2.5 out of 2, so 100%. Now notice you don't get more than 100%, but you still get that as your average. Now, this student did not do any of the portfolio problems, and so it turns red, and that's going to hurt the student because they will get 0% and basically drop a whole letter grade in their overall math grade. That is really not a smart way to go because why let a whole letter grade fall? Instead, look at the portfolio problem as a chance to improve your grade, but a whole letter grade. Guarantee a letter grade. Now, in some years and in some schools, in some classes, the portfolio problem does not count. It's not included on the total. And if that's the case, either the test is going to be worth a little bit more or the content assessments are going to be worth a little bit more. to make up for it. But again, if the portfolio problem is counting, take advantage of it. And some teachers, like I said, will use the portfolio problem as a boost on your test grade if you go above and beyond. So this particular student here, let's say, for example, they got a 2.5, and that would have given him more than 100%. The teacher may decide to use the extra 0.5 as a little boost on their unit assessment grade as more evidence of mastery to improve their overall math grade. So whichever way that happens, take advantage of the portfolio problems is the end of the message. Next video, we're going to talk about content assessments. I'll see you guys then.